This is Young Morpheus back with another video. In this video, it's one which I felt crossed across all of my different platforms, whether it's the Political Matrix, Been Thinking with Young Morpheus, or Hebrew Apologetics with Young Morpheus and Jose. The channel Moxie Approved and We Woke got together and they did a really good review of the Hebrew to Negros um, movie slash documentary and book. And I think it's very important for us to be able to notice that there is a difference between the book and the documentary, and to understand the conflation, a lot of the conflation that's being done with the media narrative that's going on. Hopefully this is informative. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Make sure to give a subscribe, hit the notification bell to my channel, of course, all three of them, whether that's the Political Matrix, Been Thinking with Young Morpheus, or Hebrew Apologetics with Young Morpheus and Jose, and also go over to Moxie Approve. Please click the notification on his channel and We Woke Now with Pastor Kelly. Thank you. Hopefully you enjoy.
That big of a deal if they did not make it big of a deal. If they ignored this, not too many people would have saw this. Maybe a few because of Kyrie Irving. But I think this is about to backfire, and I think it is backfiring. And I'm just going to give you this analogy, and I'm going to give you this analogy on how they're treating this. I could probably come up with a better analogy, but this is just what I'm coming up with right now. The way they're treating this, and I'm going to explain why, yeah, Kyrie Irving probably ain't going to play for the Brooklyn Nets again. Because I'm going to tell you, like, it's what he did. Imagine you're working at a job, right? And imagine your boss, his name is Ted, right? So imagine you're working at this job, and let's say that y'all have a company party, right? And you bring your wife to this company party, and Ted meets your wife. All right, stay with me. And Ted meets your wife, and let's say 6 months down the road or somewhere, why are you employed and you're working under Ted? He's your boss, and you find out that Ted has been sleeping with your wife, right? And let's say that you keep your composure for a while and you don't go and automatically approach him, right? Let's say that you just end up casually bringing it up, right? Let's say that y'all, I don't know, let's say y'all both outside smoking a cigarette. I don't smoke cigarettes, but let's just say you at work and you and your boss outside smoking a cigarette. Y'all just having a cordial conversation about the football game. Like, yeah, you know, the Bills lost today to the Jets, Ted. Yeah. And I also want to ask you, Ted, you know, how long are you going to be sleeping with my wife and not say nothing about it? You know what Ted going to do? You didn't make no appointment. You didn't say, hey, Ted, I got something real serious I got to talk to you about. Ted don't know that you knew, right? And then not only did Ted not know that you knew, you brought it up so casual out of nowhere, and he ain't had no time to prepare. You know what he going to do? He going to be like, oh, you know, I hear you, Moxie. Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate, but you're fired. You're fired. That's how they're handling this. He came out of nowhere with this. They didn't see this coming at all, and they had no time to prepare. They had no time to drum up some type of narrative. All right. That's why they're like, oh, just call the movie Anti-Semitic. Yo, you know what else they said that I forgot about? Matter of fact, let me bring this up, and I'm about to bring We Woke Up to. I forgot all about this. I'm about to bring up the Rolling Stones. Hold on, let me just do this now. Y'all know, if y'all don't know this guy right now, he's a good friend of mine. If you haven't been subscribed to him, subscribe to him now. Welcome to the show, We Woke. What's up with you, brother? Hey, you got to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, there we go. What's up with you, man?
Oh, I'm doing good. Can't complain. Cannot complain. Doing a great job. Great commentary.
Hey, man, you know, we got to get your review and your perspective on this. What I'm just going to do right now, we can use this as a transition into what you saw on this also, is I want to bring up that Rolling Stone article, because there was also something that they said that it was so far of a reach, and that's what they said. I believe they said homophobia, right?
Yeah.
I believe that's another one they put in there. They took the most negative adjectives in the PC culture and said, all right, let's put these negative adjectives on the board. Anti-Semitic, homophobia, misogynistic, xenophobia. They started with that, and they said, all right, I need y'all to watch that movie and find any sliver that you can connect it with these adjectives. They took the worst adjectives of the PC culture and threw it at. And the one that really pissed me off was the homophobia one, because I know you know, but to tell the people, y'all want to know what they try to connect to the homophobia stuff is when they start talking about how the Romans came and conquered the Jews and how the Romans were participating in like man-to-man sexuality and all that. He just stated that. He didn't say that these people were degenerates. He didn't say that he didn't even say the uncircumcised. He didn't even do that. It was just the Romans came and did this, and the Roman culture were involved in this. They had, same gender sex. Correct me if I'm wrong, Pastor Kelly. That's all he said. He didn't put no adjective on it. He left the adjectives out of it, and he said it was homophobia. That's when I really was like, wow, these boys ain't playing. They not playing. So yeah, let's just go through this real quick, and you can just go ahead, because while you giving your review, I'm just gonna go up and just pour me a quick little cup of tea. You know what I mean? All right, we going there. So look, I'm gonna just let you go ahead.
Yeah, just real quick, because Moxie mentioned the quote that Ron Dalton made about the Nazis, about Hitler, and in his book, because like I said, I have this book right here, but in his book, he quoted, the genetic heritage of the Hebrews is purportedly traced to Oriental, Negro, Asian, and Hamitic people. And he highlights here, says, Adolf Hitler, quote, in the book Nazis, World War II, by Time Life Books, by Jewish author Robert Edward Hertzstein. All right, so this is the book, and I've had this for years on top of years, right? And what he's quoting from, this is, let me go to the page, because family, you got to have sources, right? And one of the things that we have to be careful of is not quoting things and not giving sources, which Ron did a great job in his book. He gave a lot of sources, but this is coming from the page 132. I'm just pulling it up so you guys can see. Hopefully you guys can see it, right? Let me move it over here. You see ham right here. You see Oriental here. Wait a minute, right there. And in the center, even though it's in the page crease, Negroid here. So he came out with a movie, and this book right here, I got two of them. I always, certain books, I get them in twos, just in case if one disappear, I always have a backup. And one of these mysteriously disappeared. So this one stays in my house at all times. So, because you guys, you got people that can have sticky fingers, right? And these books are priceless. So there was a lot of things that was said, and it's being said that can be proven, as Moxie pointed out, that the people that are talking about the movie did not watch the movie. And I'm going to show you here why they are able to get away with it, especially when you understand anti-Semitism, right? And I think Moxie gave me permission to be able to show some clips. Let me see here.
Let me know if you're having problems with that. You should. I gave you admin. I gave you admin. Let me know if you're having problems with it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing clips on my end. Do I need to upload it to yours?
Yeah, you can do that. I don't know why it's not letting you
because I thought normally it let you show, you know what I mean, let me see what's on my side here.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not letting you take control, because I definitely gave you admin. Definitely gave you admin.
Let me try
see if I can do it now. But yeah, send it to me and I'll place it up. Just put it in the private comment. I'll put it up.
Okay, let's see here. All right. But in the when we start dealing with the word anti-Semitism, right? Kanye says something that was very key, because a lot of people were asking questions like, hey, he's a billionaire. How come Kanye don't know what anti-Semitism is? A lot was asking that question. A lot of people was asking that question, and that's a legitimate question to ask, right? And I can assure you that when you guys went to look up this word anti-Semitism or Semitic, you went online to do so. I'm gonna share this presentation to you with you, Moxie. Hopefully, I could this could still serve the purpose that the audio will play through. Let me see here. All right, let me know if you got it.
You put it in the private chat.
Well,
okay, yeah. No. You have admin privileges, man. You don't even need me. You can just share it. Yep.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, family, the first thing I want to do here, because when we hear that word anti-Semitic and Semitic, and if you listen to what Kyrie Irving said, right? He said he used words like he looked at the root of words. He goes to Oxford Dictionary, right? When they mentioned the words anti-Semitism. So what he was saying is, when you really listen to both interviews, that he understands the root words, right? But the key is, he and others like myself, and you guys have probably done it. You went to Google, then you went to Oxford, you went to Merriam-Webster dictionary, you went to all of these different dictionaries. Here's the problem. That's the definition of anti-Semitic or Semite from an academic perspective. See, there's a difference from the academics' definition of anti-Semitic versus the legal definition of anti-Semitism. And Kanye, and I'm gonna play a quick, let me pull it up here since Moxie gave me permission. I'm gonna share it directly from my computer. I just want you to hear the audio, and you can hear what Kanye says when he says, hey, I did not know if I said my doctor is a Jew or Jewish, my lawyer is Jewish, my record label is Jewish. He said, I didn't know that was considered anti-Semitic. So I'm going to play it here. Let me put it up here real quick. And I want y'all to really listen to his words, because, man, it really puts things in its proper perspective. And we're going to go over what anti-Semitic is legally. So let me bring up Kanye West's words here when he was in that interview. Let me pull it up real quick. Let's see here. All right. I thought I had it here. Let me see. All right, here it is. Right? Let's pull it up. All right, it's taking a second to come.
All right, why? Okay.
I didn't realize that I could be considered anti-Semitic till I read one of the definitions of anti-Semitism. Look at this. The definition says, making mendacious, dehumanizing, demonizing, or stereotypical allegations about Jews as such, or the power of Jews as a collective, such as, especially, but not exclusively. This sounds like let them go by.
All right. So did you hear what he said, Moxie? Did it come out? I know it's choppy in a little bit, but did you hear the definition? I think you sound like you're muted on my end. Yeah,
I heard what you were saying. It was a little choppy, but I got a sense of you. See if you can play it one more time all the way through. Is it it's the buffering, huh?
Yeah, let me see here.
Yeah, it sounded like it was a little buffering. I heard it, but it was very like choppy.
About Jews as such?
Yes, it's buffering. So I was trying to see another way to get this to you.
Yeah, send it to me in a private chat. I can play and see if it buffer over here. Because they need to hear that. I got announcement I'm gonna make when you're done. I just found something out. Somebody just sent me something. It's pretty big information. But I'm gonna wait till you're done.
Okay. Well, what I'll do, I'll just go straight to the presentation, and if we have time, we'll just go ahead and deal with the video, the audio. But I'll just go back to the presentation here. And family, this is very important. Let me pull this back up. All right, let's see here. All right, let me take this out. Let me take this out. All right. StreamYard caused me a little problems here. Let me remove this here. All right, remove from studio. And let me show this here again. Let's try this again. All right. Can you guys see this? Can you see this, Moxie?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right. Right. One of the things that really stood out is what he defined as anti-Semitism. And family, I'm going to show you just how easy it is to be called an anti-Semitic person based upon legal terms, right? And that's what Kanye West was saying, like, hey, I didn't know that if I said pretty much everyone that's in his life that's in a prominent position, so to speak, are Jewish. You say he didn't know he could be considered anti-Semitic just by stating that. Well, on Malika Andrews' show with ESPN, she had a rabbi on there from California, and she asked him about the movie, and he began to elaborate on the movie, and he said anti-Semitism is a certain perception of hatred towards the Jews or Jewish people. So I had to think about that. Think about that, Moxie. Anti-Semitism is a certain perception. So no matter what's written, I can say I perceive what you're saying is anti-Semitic.
It's pretty broad, basically what you're saying. Hold on. That's bars. That's bars. That's bars. Keep going. Yeah.
It's filled with ambiguity. It's vague. So you could look at me a certain way. I could say, I perceived you being anti-Semitic. When you said that, hey, you know what? I was at the game and I perceived them looking at me a certain way. Well, guess what? If the shoe was on the other foot and they say, hey, you know what? I see this tall black guy, right? He was looking at me a certain way. I perceive him to be an anti-Semitic. I perceive that he's hating on me.
So basically what you're saying to me and what you're saying to everybody, if somebody even looked like they got a problem with that community, that's anti-Semitic.
Exactly.
If it even comes off that you were thinking a negative thought, that's anti-Semitic.
Technically, because look what it says. It says anti-Semitism is a certain perception of Jews which may be expressed as hatred towards Jews. Rhetorical and physical manifestations of anti-Semitism are directed toward Jewish or non-Jewish individuals and or their property, toward Jewish community, institutions, and religious facilities. And this is by working definition of anti-Semitism. And as you see the link below, it says state.gov. This is a government website here. This is the link. Right. And I'll drop the link in the backdrop so you can have it. You can download this as well and maybe revisit this in the future. So that what I'm reading here is up in the top left corner of the backdrop here. But this is just a highlight of this here. Now, let me show a couple more things here about anti-Semitism. And this is why I said this word could be very, 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 very deceptive. Now we're going to cover where it says here, contemporary examples of anti-Semitism. I'll say it again, contemporary examples of anti-Semitism. Now notice this first one, Moxie. It says calling for aiding, or justifying the killing or harming of Jews, often in the name of radical ideology or an extremist view of religion. So this gave them an opening when Kanye posted what he posted. Even though Kanye West came out and expressed that when he said death con, he actually meant DEFCON, which just means a higher sense of awareness for his defense. But again, by him saying DEFCON, he typed it in DEFCON. Guess what? That falls up under the contemporary examples of anti-Semitism, whether it's, he made an error or not, and he expressed it, and everyone knew he didn't mean it in an intention. I mean, the way that it was taken, but he gave him a room. That was a window of opportunity.
That's a fact. Let's just be real. Kanye was mad that they was taking money from him. Yeah, that's what he got. That's what he was mad at. I don't have a problem with Kanye. I don't fully ride with him because I felt like he was kind of selfish on how he's done all of this. But I still don't think that this man meant any kind of real negative harm toward the Jewish community. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just want to say thank you, Kimberly. Thank you for the super chat. Go ahead.
And family, show some love for Kimberly for blessing this platform, supporting the platform. Show us some love for because it's not easy doing what we're doing here and providing this content. It takes a lot of time and effort to bring this information to you guys. It's not cheap. When Moxie does all those edits and putting his videos together, time is money, and money is time. And he's putting a lot of effort to give you a high level of quality and the commentary that's on top of it. So support your channel, family.
I really appreciate that. And I just want to add too on that, every dollar that you give my channel and that you give We Woke Now, we appreciate it. So I also want y'all to understand too, we talking about a topic that we could wake up tomorrow and our page is gone. I mean, we haven't done anything. We haven't said any harm toward these communities, but even what Pastor Kelly is showing us right now, it's a very broad umbrella under there, and they can just decide that, hey, you sneezed the wrong way. Like you said the word Jewish and then you sneeze. We don't like that. Take the page down. So we'd like to thank y'all for anybody that contributes to us, because they could take my page anytime. Matter of fact, why I'm gonna let you keep going. We won't. I'm gonna post a link up to my second page right now. It's a good time for me to do that, because you never know when they start putting that hammer down. Let me post up a link to my second page, but keep going, sir.
All right, so the second bullet here, and we're going to revisit this real quick, but I want to give you guys each one. Here's another one. This is what Kanye West was quoting. He says, making mendacious, dehumanizing, demonizing, or stereotypical allegations about Jews as such, or the power of Jews as a collective, especially, but not exclusively. Now, notice this here, the myth about a world Jewish conspiracy or of Jews controlling the media, economy, government, or other societal institutions. You see that broad brush. I mean, they're saying you can't say that the Jewish community is running the media. You can't say they run it. They have a major influence on the economy. They have a major influence on Congress. You say that is considered anti-Semitic. Even here's the kicker. Even when you give the proof with their sources.
Right.
Now notice this next one. Watch this next one, Moxie. Peep this. Accusing Jews as a people of being responsible for real or imagined wrongdoing committed by a single Jewish person or group, the state of Israel, or even for acts committed by non-Jews.
What?
You see where I'm going at with this? I mean,
yeah.
See, family,
yeah.
Whoever writes or control the pages control your thoughts, right? And the problem is, I believe, with the movie and the book Hebrew to Negros, is because they can't control the thoughts of that publication. Because
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Anytime our thoughts cannot be controlled. That's where it's the problem. Okay, since we can't control them, we want to demonize them so that way no one else wants to hear what they have to say.
Yep. I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that.
And notice the next two here. Accusing the Jews as a people or Israel as a state of inventing or exaggerating the Holocaust. Accusing Jewish citizens of being more loyal to Israel or to the alleged priorities of Jews worldwide than to the interests of their own nations. So just what I read to you, I can guarantee you none of us knew this information. Because when we think of anti-Semitism, we think of just being nasty, saying something hateful. No, you see how every last one of us can pretty much be accused of anti-Semitism based upon the legal definition of it. Right? So
I mean, really, if you misspelled a word, technically they got a shot at calling you anti-Semitic. I'm being real. Like if you misspelled a word, you're like, did you do that on purpose? Yeah, Thanos. Whoosh. Like,
absolutely. So right here, right, going back to bullet number 2, it says, right, making mendacious, dehumanizing, demonizing, or stereotypical allegations about Jews as such, or the power of Jews as a collective, especially but not exclusively, the myth about a world Jewish conspiracy or of Jews controlling the media, economy, government, or societal institutions. Now, guess what? Kanye in the clip here, because I know it's not going to play.
Send it to me.
Okay, yeah. Can you hear the audio? You can't hear the audio on this, can you?
Mm-mm.
Okay, but I'm just going to explain it though. He's given the definition of what I highlighted, right? And let me fast forward here. I want to go back to here because these are just playing it. But again, the myth about a world Jewish conspiracy or a Jews or of Jews controlling the media. Now, this is an article, right? December 19th, 2008, titled LA Times, Who Runs Hollywood? Come on, by a Ashkenazi Jew by the name of Joel Stein. He is a Jewish journalist, right? See, this is the key, family. We're using their sources, but guess what? The source is not anti-Semitic because because it's coming from within their community, but they can label me for being anti-Semitic because I'm using the source.
Now, there's some things I have to say about that. I don't agree. I didn't write that definition of anti-Semitism. Of course, they did. I don't agree with it, but they wrote it. But I will say this, and I know this as a comedian, they trying to turn us into a society like that, period, to where you can't talk about another group unless you're part of that group. And they use us to start that. They let us, I thought that they were being, good sportsmen by letting us talk about white people and we use the N-word and they can't use the N-word, but they actually use us to establish that. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm going to tell you right now what they can say. They can be like, well, if I say the N-word, I'm racist. But y'all say the N-word to each other and everything's okay. You see the alley-oop right there?
But here's the kicker. When we understand the origins and what transpired, we got colonized. The N-word, because think about it, we got to say the N-word. Who made the N-word into a negative word?
They did.
They did, right? When we say they, all those that enslaved us, I'm not just going to say the Jewish community because we know that they played a major role in the transatlantic slave trade, which I call it a war, but it was also the Catholic Church. It was Muslims. It was Hindus. They all benefited from slavery. But that word, as we just said, the N-word, and if we spelled it out, Niger or Gger, also in the Bible, you'll see Simon the Niger, which is actually pronounced the same way. Niger is spelled Niger there. Those were honorable terms. The Hebrew equivalent to that word is Nagid, right? Which means captain. It means king. It means governor. from the Amharic or the Ge'ez or Ge'ez language, which is Ethiopia, it's called Negus, Negus. Negus, which means kings. That was the title of Haile Selassie. Negus Nagaste.
For those of y'all don't know, We Woke Now has a great video about this on your channel. I saw that where you was explaining all of that. He has a great video. Y'all need to go ahead and just subscribe to him. He has a great video explaining Negus on his channel. But I just had to throw that in there.
But you see what I mean? The issue is, just to your example that you gave, we did not make that word into a negative word. Initially, we embraced that word. But once it got colonized, you'll see the history of slaves not wanting to be called Negros, because Negros is still interchangeable with Negger as well as Neg or Niger. So Negros is still interchangeable with it. Look it up, family. Look it up. I did a full lesson on this. So we embracing Negros, but we cringe when we hear niggas. I'm going to say the Amharic version. Niggas, right? So where I'm getting at is that's how we got colonized, and we're still showing behaviors of that. But you're absolutely correct that they can use that hey, we can say it, but you can't say it. That's basically what they're establishing.
Yeah, that's
what the difference is. When we look at it from a perspective of giving history, right? They're telling us, all right, you can't quote our history or sources that may come against us, even though it's from their community. That's what they're saying. So this source that I have here, this is coming from a Ashkenazi Jewish person. Now, peep this out, Moxie. Look at what he says, right? Who runs Hollywood? Come on. I have never been so upset by a poll in my life. Only 22% of Americans now believe the movie and television industries are pretty much run by Jews, down nearly from 50% in 1964. The Anti-Defamation League, which released a poll result last month, sees in these numbers a victory against stereotyping. Actually, it just shows how dumb America has gotten. Jews totally run Hollywood. How deeply Jewish is Hollywood? Notice what he says here. When the studio chiefs took out a full-page ad in the Los Angeles Times a few weeks ago to demand that the Screen Actors Guild settle its contract. The open letter was signed by News Corp, President Peter Chernin, Jewish, Paramount Pictures Chairman Brad Gray, Jewish, Walt Disney Co-Chief Executive Robert Iger, Jewish, Sony Pictures Chairman Michael Linton, Surprise, Dutch Jewish, Warner Brothers Chairman Barry Mayer, Jewish, CBS Corp, Chief Executive Leslie Moonves, so Jewish that his great uncle was the first prime minister of Israel. MGM Chairman Harry Sloan, Jewish, NBC Universal Chief Executive Jeff Zucker, mega Jewish. And it goes on. Then it goes on in here. It says the Jews are so dominant. I had to scour the trades to come up with 6 Gentiles in high positions at entertainment companies. When I called them to talk about their incredible advancement, 5 of them refused to talk to me, apparently out of fear of insulting Jews. Why? Based upon the legal definition of anti-Semitism. You can't say or allude to them running the industry because that's considered anti-Semitic, even though this Jewish person is making it clear that they run Hollywood. It says here, the 6th AMC president, Charlie Collier, turned out to be Jewish. The Jews are so dominant. Right now, that's the duplicate right here. As a proud Jew, I want America to know about our accomplishments. Yes, we control Hollywood. Without us, you'd be flipping between the 700 Club and Davy and Goliath on TV all day. It says, so I've taken it upon myself to reconvince America that Jews run Hollywood by launching a public relations campaign. So I'm giving you a source here. Kanye quoted an updated list, but yet if we say it, it's anti-Semitic. It's anti-Semitism, even though I'm using their source.
Yeah, and you know what? I happen to be a guy that's all about the truth, whether it is for my agenda or not. I don't really have an agenda, but whether it's in my favor or not, I'd rather be for the truth. And I think that law was written unfair. I think it's too broad of a law to have like that. I must say that. And I do think it infringes on freedom of speech. I don't think that you should be allowed to say any type of violence or hatred toward anybody. We don't want nobody speaking violence and hatred toward us. But to disagree with some of the stuff you see from a community, I don't think that no one should not be able to do that for any group. I think that's bad. I think you get more toward an Orwellian society, if I'm pronouncing it right. I think you get closer to an Orwellian society, George Orwell from 1984, when there's somebody you can't talk about. Like it's very disheartening. Please go ahead.
Yeah, and we get ready to get to that Rolling Stones article, because I'm setting it up by going through this so that way everyone that's watching understand why Kanye said he didn't know, according to the actual definition that he had before him, that he was anti-Semitic by saying the Jewish community run things. That's why he said it.
Pastor Kelly, I want to ask you this. Does this relate it? It was one thing that Kyrie said that I didn't get what he was saying. Do you think that this is related to when Kyrie was like, I didn't know the English dictionary, Oxford, like where were you at when I couldn't understand the words of the dictionary? Do you remember he said that?
Yeah, that's what he was referring to.
That's what he was talking to?
He was talking about. He's like, hey.
Okay.
He said,
I get it
but
now.
he started studying the words through Oxford to get a better understanding of what these words mean, because it wasn't being taught to us. We never was taught. Okay, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, my fault. I wanted to tell October, this is We Woke Now. His channel is called We Woke Now. He wants to know what your channel is. Keep going.
Okay, so he was expressing, where were you guys when I needed clarity on this stuff? We never got taught growing up what anti-Semitic is. Hey, we wasn't even taught what Semitic is. Actually,
Right.
when we were growing up in church, they told us don't read Genesis, don't worry about Genesis 10. When it goes into such and such begat this, oh, don't worry about that. That's not important. When actually it is important. That's the table of nations, right? So when we go back to here, right, and as you pointed out earlier, when we gave the initial definition, it's filled with ambiguity. So here it's saying accusing the Jews as a people or Israel as a state of inventing or exaggerating the Holocaust. So what I did was, since I got the book, right, because the movie is based off the book, so let's go to the book and see what Ron actually said. Because we're doing a review, so family, let's go and see exactly what he said. And this is the problem that Moxie brought up earlier when I was listening. He said that most of these people haven't even watched the movie. Actually, 99% of the people commentating on the movie did not watch the movie, because everything that they are saying is not in the movie.
That drives me crazy. I had a guy on my Facebook, and it was a guy, I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it was a guy that's actually married to a black woman, white guy married to a black woman. I don't want to get too deep on stuff. I don't know why I'm always running into problems with those guys. It's almost like they feel like they got to go at it with black men because they with a black woman. But this guy was literally talking to me about this movie and never saw it, and was just using what the media said as a source. And I had to keep telling him, what you're saying don't matter because you haven't saw it. Well, look at what it says here. It says this, that. Yeah, but the media just lies about a lot of stuff. Like, but go ahead,
Exactly.
man. My voice.
Now I'm gonna use this example.
My voice.
I do a lot of I'll take over a lot of the talk until you get your voice back. But think about this example, Moxie. Remember, if somebody told us about, like, it's a movie that you wanted to see, but somebody beat you to the punch and came back to you and said, look, Moxie, you know what? I saw that movie. It wasn't good. It was a terrible movie. But we are programmed in our generation and beyond, not this newer generation, that if you tell me that you saw a movie and it wasn't good, I'm still going to watch the movie to see if what you're saying is true. I'm not just going to take your word and say, oh, I'm not going to see the movie. I'm not going to watch it. What you would do is, okay, I'm going to wait to I will wait till the movie calm down a little bit or come down, get to another movie theater, go from the movie theater that's charging top price when it first come out. Well, I may wait till it come on it's streaming now, and then I can watch it in the confines of my home. But one way or the other, I am going to watch that movie, right? What we seeing today, they're saying like kind of the Wizard of Oz with Toto, pulling the curtain off the eyes, and the eyes saying, don't pay attention to that man behind the curtain. You know what I mean? We're seeing that happen right now. That's what we're experiencing. Don't pay attention to what they're saying. Listen to what you're hearing, but don't pay attention to what you're seeing. So what we're doing is fact checking.
Yes, I'm seeing a lot of that. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. You already said it.
So what we're doing is actually fact checking what they're saying. And family, this is why it's imperative for you guys to watch the movie, right? Watch it, even though we're giving you a overview of it. But watch the movie so that way you can when you have a discussion or you hear someone talking about it. No, you know what? That's not what the movie said. That's not even in the movie. All right. So let's go ahead and deal with this portion. This first portion right here says, accuse the Jews as a people or Israel as a state of inventing or exaggerating the Holocaust, because this is what you touched on as well. And I'm going to show you here. Actually, I'm not going to talk about this right here. That's a Jewish source. I don't even want to talk about it right now. But did Ron Dalton write in his book or state in his movie that the Holocaust did not exist? Family, that is an absolute lie.
He never said that.
That's what the reporter, when he confronted Kyrie Irving, he said the movie said that the Holocaust never exists. Right? So what did Ron Dalton actually write in his book? Well, we're going to pull it up right now. Here it is. Right? You see this highlighted text. All I'm going to do is just do my little bookmarks like I do like this, so you can see it in a larger zoomed in type of effect. So it says here, the Jews have established 5 major falsehoods which work to conceal their nature and protect their status and power, to wit. Now, when you read this, like, is it true that what they're saying about Ron is, man, this sounds like this anti-Semitic? Well, hold your horses. Notice what it says here. The Jews are Israelites. That's 5 major falsehoods. Jews are Israelites, in other words, Hebrews, and thus God's chosen people. Jesus Christ was a Jew. Jesus did not practice Judaism. Jesus' stock was of Levi, Aaron, in other words, through Mary, and Judah through Joseph. Here's the kicker, number 3, that's considered anti-Semitic, right? That 6 million Jews were killed in the Holocaust. Now, he's listing this source here. He's stating that 6 million Jews were killed. There's nothing that says the Holocaust didn't exist.
Okay, now hold on. Let me say something right here. He didn't do this in the movie. This is from the book, correct?
Yeah.
I did not read the book. In the movie, he never said that in the movie. In the movie, he just said this is what they use to validate that they are the original Israel, Hebrew Jewish folks. And then he used that they say 6 million killed. He didn't say this part, that many sources and scholars. I know myself, even before you just educated me about their definition of anti-Semitism, I knew myself, if you ever question that number, that's anti-Semitic. I've been knowing that if you question that number, that they not gonna stand for that. I didn't know that was in the book. I just want to say I stand on what I said about the movie. He did not present it like that in the movie. I'm seeing right now he said that in the book.
The reason why I'm sharing this here, because the movie is based off the book. You know how it goes when you're doing a movie that's based off the book. Some things are going to be lost in the transition, the translation. because if he actually did the movie word by word, based on the book, the movie would be like a 7-8 hour movie easily, right? So,
Right.
so just so that way the people can hear that Ron Dalton did not have an anti-Semitic approach, even when you hear just a few things that you heard inside the movie. So that's why I'm going to the book. So we see a full understanding that he never said or believed that the Holocaust is made up.
Okay, we can't establish that. He did not, he never said that. But I will say, it is highly known, if you question that number, they was blocking, they had, I'm just going to throw this in there. Last year on Twitter, they had Holocaust Day on there. And woo, Twitter went wild. I thought that it would be more like everybody coming on there and sharing their stories of their grandparents and the Holocaust. They were on there saying, oh, I saw one comment, a dude said in high school, y'all told us 400,000. He was like, now I'm 40 years old now. Y'all saying it's 6 million. They were blocking all those pages on Twitter. People was losing pages on Twitter. They had a field day saying stuff, and Twitter had a field day blocking people pages. So I said all that to say that if you back that number is not a legitimate number, there ain't no way of escaping them calling you anti-Semitic. You ain't gonna be able to escape that. But once again, he didn't put that in the movie. He did not put that in the movie. I'm seeing he put that in the book. But go ahead.
Yeah, because see, whenever they talk about the movie, they always talk about the book, right? And they said Kyrie Irving was promoting the movie and the book. So I want to make sure, since they saying that he said that the Holocaust didn't exist, we know he didn't say it in the movie. So I want to make sure they see in the book what's in the book. You won't find it as well, but he gives sources confirming the Holocaust. But notice what you see in bullet number 3, that 6 million Jews were killed in the Holocaust during World War II. Many sources and scholars have proven that there was less than 250,000 Jews living in Europe at the time of the Nazi Third Reich rule. This number was fabricated and was believed to be true by the Jewish-controlled media in America, right? And then it goes on to number 4, that all people are equal. All people are not equal in religion of Judaism. We are considered goyim or goyim or goy, just like cattle. Goyim is plural, goy is singular, right? And then 5, that the Jews are just another religious group. The Jews today are Europeans whose ancestors converted from pagan religious, right? And he goes on, say a few more things. But when we see there at the bottom, though, he says, quoted by Ashkenazi Jew Harold Wallace Rosenthal. Harold Rosenthal was the assistant to the Senator Jacob Javits, right? The Jacob Javits Center. Jacob Javits was a wealthy man. So that tells you that Harold Rosenthal was a very prominent person. Because like I know, Moxie, you can't be an assistant, an advisor to a senator without going through security clearances, background checks, and all that. So he was a very reputable person, right? And he's also mentioned in the Reagan library. I have some of the information here, but I'm not going to get into it right now. I just wanted to show that Ron Dalton did highlight a source. But let's go to this source and see if Ron Dalton quoting his source correctly. Because some people say, well, did he use it correctly? Well, let's see if he used it correctly. And then will this change stating that he's anti-Semitism? I'm going to say no, because based upon the definition, it says anything that's questioning the 6 million number Holocaust is considered to be what? Anti-Semitism. Right? But let me show you here. Let's go to here. Let me fast forward here. This is the source. This is an interview, right? And what's interesting, this guy here, right, Harold Rosenthal, this whole book right here is based off an interview. A month later, he was killed in a terrorist act, right? Very interesting. But notice here, what's in Ron's book is in the footnote right here, footnote 13. I'm gonna read it. It's gonna read word for word. The Jews have established 5 major falsehoods which work to conceal their nature and protect their status and power, to wit. The Jews are Israelites and thus God's chosen people. Right? Ron quoted that. Jesus Christ was a Jew. Number 3, that 6 million Jews were killed in a Holocaust during World War II. And this is coming from this Ashkenazi Jewish guy, Harold Rosenthal book or interview, The Hidden Tyranny, the issue that dwarfs all other issues.
Okay, let me say something real quick. Okay, so you're saying that this is another Jewish guy saying this about his own community.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Ron Dalton is just using him as a source, using what he said that is documented as a source.
Okay, I got that. I want to make that clear because they got to do a manual review of this video.
Yeah.
So they already put it in yellow, and I'm going to request for a review. You know
absolutely.
what I mean? I'm gonna have to request for a review. So we have to make it clear that this was written by another Jewish person. We just found it and put it out, and we're putting it out how it's okay pretty much for a Jewish guy to be anti-Semitic towards his own community. But go ahead.
Absolutely. So you see, Ron Dalton is not stating or using this source to say that the Holocaust never existed. He used the source of a Jewish guy, an Ashkenazi Jew, who is an assistant or an advisor to a senator, a state senator, Jacob Javits. So how can this be anti-Semitism? It's because of that broad brush, that ambiguous, the ambiguous examples that we're given, that's saying that if you say anything that exaggerates or insinuate the exaggeration of the numbers in the Holocaust, then you can be considered anti-Semitic. But again, how can you be anti-Semitic when you're quoting their own source from within their own community? Someone that is born through and raised in that community. All right. So that's why I want to kind of show this here and lay out what anti-Semitism, the definition is. So now getting the thing that I highlighted here, what you see on your screen, and I'm just putting this as an example, family. This is during 1940. These coins are from the 1930s to 1940s. Notice what you see on one side of the coin. This is from Germany. You see the swastika on one side and the Star of David on the other side. Okay, can we get some information on it? You know what I mean? I'm just putting it out there. This is the Zionists. This is the Nazis, but it's on one coin. I'm not going to go into it. I'm just putting that up there as an example that even though you can pull this historical information, it can still be considered based upon their definition of being anti-Semitic.
So that says Nazi and that has a Star of David there.
Well, one side of the coin, this is the Nazi symbol, swastika symbol. On the other side of the coin is the Star of David, which is the Zionist symbol. And as you see here, Palestinian ain't Nazi, right?
Yo, I'm tired of finding out stuff that I don't know about this war.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm tired.
This is why it's important to study and get understanding about the Balfour agreement. It's more to it, right? It's more to it, right? It's more to it. Just like when you were talking about the Spanish Inquisition, right? The Spanish Inquisition, when you start going into those sources, the old sources, not the sources in the 18th century, the 19th century, but when you go into the 17th century and you start reading about the Spanish Inquisition, they make it clear that they enslaved, I'm just going to use it for the sake of the conversation, Black Jews. Sephardics, Black Jews. When you look at the Spanish Inquisition, Sao Tome, or some would say St. Thomas, not the St. Thomas that we see in the Caribbeans, right? There is a Sao Tome that's on the west coast of Africa. Oh, you know, it's so many layers to it. So many layers.
It's a lot of layers to this, man. It's waking up ain't the word. This is like, yeah, it's not the word, man. I feel you can feel something coming. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like I actually feel something coming. But keep going. Raina, thank you for the super sticker. Prolific, thank you for the super chat. Keep going.
And so I'm using this article as an example, right? This is October 18th, 1918 from the New York Times. I'm a geek here, so you guys probably already know it. This is the back print. This is me doing a screen print of me going into their archives, researching, right? And as you see here, my search was $1 billion fund to rebuild Jewry, right? And you see this right here. But what's highlighted when you look at the backdrop here, what number do you see here, Moxie? I'm circling it.
6 million.
6 million. Look at the date here. October 18th, 1918. So in this article, right, almost 30 years before the Holocaust, we see what? An article about 6 million souls.
Man, this is a lot, man.
Right? And here's the actual PDF right here of me downloading it from the New York Times. So this is not me making it up. This is the actual PDF, right? I'm gonna show you a couple more, and then we'll get to the article. Ukrainian Jews aim to stop pogroms. New York Times, September 8th, 1919. Notice what we see here again. This is in the search, right? What do you see again? 6 million. 6 million. It says that 127,000 Jews have been killed and 6 million are in peril. Right? This is highlighting what we just read. But here's the article, right? Now, of course, I got my print over it, right? I'm gonna remove that so that way you guys can see that clearly. Let me remove that so you can see it. Let me see here. And see, this is why we got to study, family. We got to study. And even when you study, still, you know what I mean? They can, based upon the definition, what I'm saying could be considered anti-Semitic.
Yeah, I'm just going to say this. I did not know that. I was Kanye. I did not know that was a definition of anti-Semitic. I don't agree with it, but it is good to know that now, at least. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, yes.
That's keep going, man. I'm still processing.
You see that here? You
right.
See that here, right?
Yeah.
I'm letting the people know I didn't make this up. I'm giving you actual downloaded sources from the New York Times archives. November 12th, 1919. We're going to see it again, right? Notice what it says, 6 million, right? 6 million. 6 million souls, or half the Jewish population of the earth. Here's the article, right? 6 million souls, or half of the Jewish population of the earth. This is November 12th, 1919. We're still dealing with 6 million, right? Here's another one, 1920, right? Here's some of the search results from the New York Times. As you see here, I screen print everything just so that way I could have a source. So again, 6 million face horrifying conditions of famine, right? Here's the actual article right here, even though this is covering up the print, but you get the gist of it. 6 million. We're 6 million, right? We still seeing the same numbers here. Why are we seeing this? But if I ask the question like this, the Jewish community began to promote the narrative of 6 million Jewish victims 30 years before the Holocaust actually happened. Guess what? Me showing these articles, according to the definition of it, I can be considered anti-Semitic.
Matter of fact, hold on, man. That deserves one of these. That deserves one of these. Hold on.
So think about this, Moxie. What highlights in that article, and we can go to the article right now. I just want to paint that, kind of, lay the foundation of where we get ready to go to, right? And before we get to there, because I was going to touch on a point, but before we get there, here's one more. Remember me and you talked about this over the phone?
Right.
Poland agrees to change Auschwitz tablets. Wait a minute. Poland, and notice what we got again. New York Times. I'm telling you, New York Times, man, I got a lot of information out of the New York Times archive. Right? I'm going in on the New York Times articles, right? They probably banned me out of it now with me going in there like this, right?
They're gonna find your account, dogs. That's it.
All of a sudden, I can't get into it now. But notice what it says. Poland agrees to change Auschwitz tablets after 50 years of deflecting the request of Jewish groups. The Polish government has agreed to change the wording on stone tablets at Auschwitz and Birkenau, the adjacent Nazi camp where more than 1 million Jews died during World War II. But notice this here. The move follows decades of appeals by Jewish groups who say the current plaques do not fully reflect the suffering of Jews there and focus too heavily on the camp's non-Jewish victims. While thousands of non-Jews were among the estimated 1.5 million killed at Auschwitz, the victims were predominantly Jews. So it's saying out of this 1.5, most of them were Jews, right? Now, I want to make this clear. I want to put this disclaimer out there just to make sure no one try to take our words and twist it. We are not stating or trying to belittle or disrespect any of the victims, because even if it was one person, that's one innocent life too many. So we want to make it clear. We're not disrespecting. We're not trying to disrespect anyone, that any of the victims. We're just dealing with history. We're dealing with history, documented history, but we're not saying that it did not exist, nor are we saying that the people did not endure what they endured. So I just want to put that disclaimer out.
Let me add one more thing for the person that has to manually review this. I'm talking directly to you, whoever's manually reviewing this from YouTube. We're not verifying none of this. We're talking about stuff that was wrote, and we just showing the stuff that people wrote. We're not saying that they lying. We're not saying that it's true. We just showing what other people wrote. Right, Pastor Kelly? Absolutely. Right. We're not giving no opinion on it. We're just showing what the news wrote, New York Times. All right. And I also want to say it's 897 people in here. Please hit that like button. It's totally free. And please do me a favor. All this is hard work. Please apply pressure to that subscribe button. Let's keep going.
All right. So now I'm going to show you here. Right. These are the tablets that we just highlighted. Right. This is right here. I'm going to zoom in. This is the original tablet that was laid out in front of, that memorial. Notice what it says. 4 million people suffered and died here at the hands of Nazi murderers between the years 1940 and 1945. So we see how many years, how many people? It says 4 million. Yeah. Right? I'm just saying that I'm just showing 4 million.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Now, when we go to the other one, this is the latest one that's there. It says about 1.5 million men, women, and children, mainly Jews from various countries of Europe. So we see a drop in the numbers. We see a difference in numbers, 4 million versus 1.5 million. So that's what, 2.5 million?
Now, let me ask you this. Are they just saying that in Poland? Because don't forget, they say if they just doing Poland numbers, I think they saying the 6 million is from all the places put together. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, so they saying 6 million. It's the total numbers of
the total number.
So that 4 million initially is part of that 6 million. So if the 4 million drops to 1.5 million, then the overall number, right, 6 million should drop at least 2.5 million. So instead of 6 million, it's going to drop to 3.5 million. And that's just with this location alone. But if you say this, or just us presenting this information, according to the definition of anti-Semitism, the examples that they've given, we are, or not we, me, I'm considered anti-Semitic because I'm showing sources stating that there's a difference in the numbers.
They gonna say me too, though. They ain't gonna pull me out of it. they gonna say me too.
Because this is, I want to make this clear. The thoughts and views of me being the guest does not necessarily reflect the beliefs of the host, the creator,
Bars.
Right? So I'll say that again.
Say it again.
So just to make sure that it keeps you in the clear. So when they hear this, this is not saying that you are supporting or you believe what I'm teaching, right? That you're supporting my views, but we're having a discussion over the movie, some of the things that was highlighted about the movie. So I'm putting that disclaimer out there so that way if they hear it, it's not saying that you are in agreement with what I'm saying here.
I got you. I got you.
All right. You know how it goes. I'm the guest.
Oh,
right?
I know.
So,
Yeah. I'm not.
right.
Yeah.